Hello, everybody. Welcome to Behind the Streams. We are here talking about a very cool subject today that I actually have dealt with like my entire moderating career. We're going to be talking about modding multiple streams. We have a very special guest co-host today. I am
Oh.
joined by Karli Cartoons, and Karli, if you want to take it away and let us know a little bit about you.
Yeah, what's up, y'all? My name is Carly. I'm a moderator for Loco and El Dirty Squirrel, and also my partner Gangle Grit, who we just saw because he's great. I'm also an animator in Los Angeles. Recently worked on The Midnight Gospel that is out on Netflix right now, so go check it out. And yeah, I'm here with Westifer.
The Midnight Gospel is, it's the weirdest. I love it so much. I love it so
Dude,
much.
I'm
I
so
can't wait
glad
to
you
finish
do.
it.
Like, oh, it's amazing, but like you're gonna need some tissues, dude. Like for real.
Wait, really? I didn't get that
Yes.
We'll talk about that later, okay?
Okay,
Here we're
yeah.
talking about modding multiple streams. So you said you mod for El Dirty Squirrel and Loco. Do you mod? Well, I know you mod for other people because I looked it up. Do you actively mod for any of those other people?
Actively mod for other people besides Loco and Squirrel. Yes, I mod for Gangle.
Oh, that's right. How
Mm-hmm.
many of those schedules conflict?
Like literally all of them.
Really?
Yeah.
And so how do you manage when all three of them go live at the same time?
It's the worst. No, not really. So usually what I'll do is with Squirrel, he starts about an hour-ish earlier than Loco. So I'll go and mod for him for an hour, switch over to some Loco. Gangle usually goes live a little bit, like 1 or 2 hours after Loco. And depending on our internet connection, I'll usually have 2 out of 3 of those streams open. And just depending on like chat activity and stuff, I'll just switch between them. Usually I'll end up being more focused in Loco's chat because she's like the chat is very active. And yeah, I mean, but it's pretty adaptable. So that's kind of just how I deal with it. And then the evenings are like my time off, so I just get to be a viewer and watch like other streams.
That's how I do it too. If someone asked me
Oh
to
yeah.
moderate for a stream that started like after 4 p.m. my time, I'd
No.
be like, no, not really gonna be there. That's when I hang out in channels and get to be a viewer again.
Yeah,
But
that's my me time, okay?
right, seriously, moderators need me time too. We can't just be moderating every time we're in a chat. It changes the dynamic of things.
It
Um,
really does.
it absolutely does. And that's actually, I mean, I have a very similar situation where Lucid Fox goes live an hour, well, 2 hours right now before Loco does, depending on what time everybody starts, but generally about 2 hours. So I have like 2 hours where I get to sit there and pay attention to Lucid stream, except now I'm on vacation, so I wake up like an hour after it started.
Oh my
But
gosh.
but I get to sit there and pay full attention to that for a while. Although moderating over there is a little bit different beast, and I'm not there as much to actually take action. So when it comes time for Loco stream, it's kind of easy for me to switch over to mostly watching Loco stream because there are more actual mod actions that I need to do over there than there is on Lucid. So I can throw Lucid on a second monitor and I can watch that chat.
Nice.
And I know when something really bad is happening at a glance, and I can pop
Yeah.
over really quickly. But just as far as like running commands and, needing to give quick timeouts and stuff, I typically find that I'm switching almost all my focus to Loco. But is
Yeah.
there is there days or reasons that you take off from one or more of your streams and say I'm focusing on so and so today?
Yeah, so I don't know, it's really chill because I know Loco doesn't mind if we like mod for other people and neither does Squirrel and definitely Gangle doesn't. So it's like Squirrel was on the front page a couple of weeks ago. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna be in Loco's channels, I'm gonna be managing the front page. Or, if Gangle has like a community day, then I'll go and hang out in his channel more. Or honestly, sometimes if I just don't like the game that's being played, I'll just switch it around, if there's enough coverage.
Okay. So I guess that's something that like there's not many days that I'll need to do a complete one or the other day. I'm also very lucky. I was moderating for both of them before this happened, but Loco and Lucid are roommates, and that makes it a lot easier for me to be able to be like, hey, Lucid's on the front page today, so you know where I'm gonna be, right? Like,
Yeah.
and it goes both ways, and they both know if they're gonna be on the front page, so it makes it like super easy for me. Is there ever a time, at least that you've come across, that it's hard to communicate your availability to a streamer that and when the reason might be I'm gonna be in another chat?
I mean, not really. Especially with Loco, we have the mod check-in, and with Squirrel, it's really, besides front page time, it's very chill. So I just like to hang out in there a little bit. But no, I really haven't had a whole lot of difficulties communicating. And I mean, I
In
live with Gangle, so I can just tell him what's
that
happening.
that helps too. That helps too. Yeah, I think
Just a
like a
little
personal
bit.
connection where like if for me it's them being roommates, and for you it's knowing one where it's like there comes a little bit higher level of understanding of like, oh yeah, no, I totally get it. Um I definitely had one time uh I used to mod for two streamers that played the same game and played in the same events, and actually they would cast events together and stuff. So it was always really weird for me because when it was a big day for one of them, it was also a big day for the other one, and it definitely
Oh
like
my gosh.
yeah, like it created a divide where it was like, okay, there's a tournament for the game that you both play today, and you're both in it. So whose chat am I moderating? Because you're both gonna have a crazy amount of viewers compared to normal.
I would
And
have
I
just quit,
I
dude.
basically did. I backed out of
Yeah.
that. Like I don't mod for either of them anymore. They both like have me as like an honorary mod. And like I still have a sword, but I don't
Yeah.
actively mod or I don't play the game anymore, so I have no idea what they're doing when they are on
You just
stream.
made me lose the game.
Who I'm sorry. Yep, no, everyone in chat too. So there are situations where it's a lot tougher. But I think if you do want to mod multiple streams, that's something that you need to take into consideration, and it's something that is very easy to fall into the trap of because when you are in communities, for me, it was this game. So I was in the streams of eight of the biggest content creators in this
Oh my
game,
gosh.
and two of them decided to mod me because I was there so much, I talked so much, yada yada. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome, without thinking about the
Yeah.
repercussions. And that I think if you want to mod multiple streams, you really need to think about those things because it can be another thing where thankfully on our team streams for Team Catalyst, like they're doing it on one channel. But if Loco and Lucid were playing together, and technically I'm a mod for Bloody too, so if everyone was playing together on like a squad stream, I would have nowhere. It would be very hard for me to know where to go. So I think that's something that you should consider
Yeah,
if you're
for
thinking about
sure.
taking another mod gig up on top of what you're normally doing.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it's also important, like as streamers, to make sure to ask people if they want to be modded, and just like give them some time to think about it, regardless of whether or not they reply immediately yes or no. Just because, like, especially if it's in the middle of a stream and someone's just kind of like not prepared for that, it can be really messy. Like I know that, so for example, Space Boy, his mods are super chill. He doesn't really require a whole lot of moderation because chat's kind of trained on what to do if someone comes in and spams or does trolly things, and his mods basically just change the game that he's playing. So like in that case it's fine, like it's just a really chill environment. But with something like, I don't know, like Loco's community, you can't just like mod someone on the spot without some preparation at the very least.
I always advocate for a good communication, but before you mod someone, I always think that from both the streamer side and the moderator side, it is absolutely beneficial to both be on the same page that
Yes.
you want them to be a mod. And it can be even more like actually this is not the reason that I've always said this, but doesn't it make a lot more sense when you realize that, oh, I might be modding someone who's always modding somewhere else right now, and I'm just like on their side screen, and I'm
Oh,
I'm just their
yeah.
entertainment. You might be putting them in an awkward position. So that's definitely something to think about. I hadn't really considered it from that standpoint. But again, always ask people before modding them. And if you
Yeah,
get a
for
mod sword,
reals.
feel free to talk to the streamer about it. Don't just be like, "Oh, I have to do things now." Like, talk to the streamer. Send him a DM on
Yeah.
Discord or something. Be like, "Hey, you gave me a mod sword. What do you expect of me?" Because I kind of just, if you just want to be a viewer, say that. It's totally fine. We all know, every moderator here knows that being a mod changes the dynamic of what you're doing
It
and how you're
really
enjoying the
does.
stream. So
Yeah.
don't bestow that on people without talking to them. Um,
Yeah. Oh, I'd also like to add that if you are like modded and can't get a hold of the streamer for whatever reason, and you're just like really uncomfortable with having the sword and stuff like that, you can just unmod yourself. I know I do it like as a joke sometimes, but if you literally just type unmod and then your username, you can get rid of the sword. So that's just something to keep in mind as well. It's not like you're just going to be stuck with it forever. And if that's something that makes you super uncomfortable, that is an option.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. If you're that uncomfortable with it, just take it off. I think giving a sword and taking a sword away from yourself without a conversation is kind of weird. So either way, like, if someone just throws a sword at me and I have to use the unmod because I really don't want it and they're not talking to me about it, that's just awkward for everybody involved. And just try not to do it. Um, but considering the time schedules that we were talking about and sometimes overlapping things, saying assuming that they're not majorly conflicting, like, oh, one person's got front page and one person is just doing like a short Sunday stream or whatever. um you mentioned a mod check-in, and that's gotta help for being able to see who's available, right? Like, tell me a little bit about that. Tell me all about it. I'd like to know.
Oh
I've never
yes,
used it.
because I know you have no idea what it's like.
Look, I forget to check in all
So
the time.
oh my gosh, Wes, are you serious? It's like such an easy thing to do. Okay, okay. So, as Wes definitely knows, it's been like a couple months now, right? Where we decided as mods
Mhm.
to institute this really simple system where, okay, so there's the mod chat, and then there's like a log of like mod actions and stuff that we just keep around for fun, and just logging stuff is good. But also, so in the mornings we'll have a daily mod check-in, and then you can react to the check-in message with something green for I'm going to be in chat, for sure I'm going to be available to do all mod things. You can react with something yellow for I'll be in and out, just depending on what's going on. And you can react with something red, for no, I'm not going to be here today. And I mean, it was supposed to be just like we were supposed to react with, I don't know, some kind of like dots, different colored dots or something like that, but not on our team. It's just you go by color. It
Just
doesn't
color.
matter.
Just color. No, but I personally, and I know it's useful within the team, but I think you also need to consider that if people are modding other streams, that's extremely useful information to have, to be able to just look in a log. And as Carly was explaining, we use the log channel because it doesn't move fast. If I go over to that channel right now, it's probably still got the check-in right
Yeah, it
near the
does.
top, like, because we don't use it a ton, and that's why, because we want to just be able to like pop over there, look at the log, and be like, oh, there's only two people on today. Like, I need to step up. I need to make sure that I'm there instead of at this other stream. So I think that's super important. I think that's something that if you're finding yourself bouncing between a couple streams and not knowing where to be, that you might talk to your mod team about. I've found it super helpful. And even the people that aren't moderating another stream right there, we have jobs, we have hobbies, we had social lives. Um,
Oh my gosh.
there just might be times when it's good to know that half of your team's not going to be there that day. Yeah, we have Valorant, we have video games that sometimes we just want to play video games that day. Maybe I don't feel like modding. So I think finding a good way to communicate, if you are moderating another streamer, if you're moderating two streamers at the same time, I think not only both of the streamers should know, but both of the mod teams should know. That
Yes.
that should definitely be something that's being communicated. Um, So we're gonna switch it up a little bit here and move on to something that actually I'm very curious about. When you take a break from modding, or when you need just a mental break, do you do that from one channel, or do you take a break from all of your channels? What informs that decision?
That's a really good question, Wes. Nice job, dude. For me, I take a break from one channel. What?
I knew this was gonna be a
What? I think that's a
disaster.
great it's a great question. I think
Okay,
that you're good at coming up with them. Okay, can I
continue,
continue?
please.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, sir. No, for me, I found that it really is just like a break from one channel or the other. Just because, like, I don't know, the communities that I mod for are so different that I don't really get burned out of modding like all at once. Like literally at all. I mean, it's just it's also like I think it's important to keep in mind that modding is a volunteer position and you're never obligated to commit more than you are comfortable with doing. And so, if you do need to take a break from stream just because maybe you don't feel like it, that is a completely valid reason. So for me, I don't really take break from modding like all at once unless I'm taking a break from Twitch, which usually means that I'm not like at an animation job because that's when I watch Twitch is while I'm working.
Okay. I see that. I see that. I tend to take a break from everything. I think.
Yeah.
And that might just be my own bad habits that lead to a more severe burnout where I'm like, no, I need to from all of them. Because I do tend to find myself, if I'm sending a message to one mod team saying, hey, I'm not going to be around for a while, I need to take a few mental health days and I've got some projects around the house or whatever it is, I'm generally telling that to the other mod team as well. But so the only time you take a break from all of your modding is when you do a like full blown I'm not on Twitch because I watch Twitch at work? Did Carly freeze?
Yeah, no.
Carly's frozen. Rip.
Can you hear me, Wes?
Oh,
Wes,
I
I can
can
hear
hear you.
you.
I can hear you. I think it's your internet because your Zoom froze right when the Discord call did too. So, but I've got you choppy back on Zoom. But I can hear you,
Okay,
I think.
come back to me, Wes. I'm scared.
So the only time that you take a full break is when you can't watch Twitch at all?
Yeah. Well, like when you mean when I'm not like working?
Well, I mean, I guess you mostly watch Twitch at work, right? And that's when like the
Yeah,
people that you mod for are on.
yeah, that's literally like the only time I watch Twitch. Like, I mean, being on Loco's team with me, like if I'm in between animation jobs, I am not on Twitch at all. I'm just out doing things and catching up with life and all that. So my breaks are in between jobs.
That sounds so healthy. I could never.
You really don't want to experience constantly being in between jobs. Like, I'm chill with
No.
it because I've been doing it for a while, but like, count your blessings, Westerfer.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm curious too um if you're looking at the new mod view, there's something that you've never really been able to see before. You could see it if you went to users in chat. Um, but that obviously we know that that wasn't always something that we did regularly. I mean, I almost never clicked on users in chat until
Oh,
it
I
was
did.
really just to scroll through.
Yeah, I mean, if I ever saw someone, I'm like, oh man, I haven't checked up on them in a while. I'll just kind of like scroll through the chat history, see any mod notes. It's just something to
Okay. Okay. The only time I ever used to open up the users in chat was to make sure that my boss wasn't in chat while I was modding or doing something.
do.
Um,
Oh my gosh.
that's literally the only time. But now we have mod view, which has this super easy big thing right up in the corner that shows active mods. And
Yeah,
it's
that is so nice.
okay, so have you found that useful in
Oh, it's
moderating multiple?
amazing.
Okay,
So
so
like Yeah. This is great.
So you'll just pop between chats and be able to get a good idea, because I feel like a lot of times there's so many, it says active, but they're not all active, right? Do you feel like that's an accurate way to get an idea of whether a stream is covered or not?
Yeah, especially for like Loco's channel because with other channels, sometimes they don't use mod view just because the chat is super low maintenance and it maintains itself. But especially with like Loco's channel, I'll if I'm ever like if I feel like I want to switch off of something, if I need to go take a break, I'll just like see how many mods are in chat, you know? And it's so much easier than like I mean, because the mod check-in is only so effective. I mean, you don't even check in to the mod check-in daily thing.
No,
So like I can
no.
still see that you're in chat and that's fine.
Yeah, but I'm not. And that's my issue, is I
Or
feel
at
like
least like
sometimes,
in the channel, like listening in at the very least.
yeah. Yeah, it just makes me wonder if it could mislead you at some times, because like there are a lot of times when I'm in a channel and I'm going to be listed as active mod, but I might have the channel muted and I might be doing something for work. I might be, writing a novel. I could be completely out, but it'll still list me and show me as active. So do you think that, I mean, I guess this is all hypothetical, but would you rather see Twitch like improve that feature to show people like mods who, I think it's impossible though. You never know what a mod is there for. If you're just a banhammer mod, they can't do it based on chat activity. I
I
just
guess
think it
that's
can,
true.
I think it's an interesting number to have, and I think it can definitely
Yeah.
help guide your decision on where to be. But from my experience so far, I'm not letting it be like the end all or be all of whether or not I'm going to be in a
Yes.
chat.
It's
Um,
definitely not a cure-all, especially because, like, I mean, people got bots and stuff that are automatically modded. I mean, Pretzel Rocks is usually a mod in everybody's channel. So it's important to kind of like comb through and see, like who's actually in or who's maybe, just kind of lurking around. But in general, I do find it to be pretty.
yeah, that's a good point. I guess it's like anything. Checking the users in chat or going there, it can only give you a broad idea, but a broad idea can be a lot better than nothing. Um, I guess that it's helpful. I'm glad they added it, especially with extra space in that bar. They might as well. Um, I wish they would do some kind of like check-in feature though. Like how cool would it
Gosh,
be
that'd be
if
great.
they took like what we do in Loco's server and incorporated it into the active mods button? Someone
That
tweet
would be
Twitch. That
amazing.
would be cool. That would
Right.
make it actually 100% useful. Oh,
And
yeah,
I
someone
have a
in chat
question
said
for
something
you,
similar.
Wes.
Ask
So like
away.
would that also make it more effective tool for you as someone who doesn't use check-in a whole lot because I mean it is a lot to manage and stuff, so if you had access to that it would potentially make it easier for communication.
Please, please. I wouldn't use it. Uh, I just think it would be cool.
Oh my
I think
gosh,
it's a
you
good
would.
idea. Okay. Anyway,
Don't start.
so you mod for a couple different streamers. What's the culture difference, and what's that
Oh
switch
my gosh.
like? Because
It's so different.
I've been to All Dirty Squirrel stream. I've been to Gangle stream and
It's
Loco.
like, oh my gosh. So like it's so weird like switching between the two. But I don't know, like for me, so a lot of the community, it might overlap. I, I'm trying to say something, Wes. Don't do it.
So
So,
okay, so she has to mute herself. I can talk from where I come from, which is
yeah, you
going
go first.
going straight from Lucid Fox, which is a political channel that gets very heated and almost no, I mean, only like slurs are off the board. As far as like swear words and stuff, it's no holds barred. You can say what you want to say, speak your mind there. And because the topics can be so, uh, well, like I said, heated, there are a lot of people speaking their mind in very big ways in that sense. And then switching over to Loco, where we have a family friendly chat and we are not dropping F bombs and not talking about politics. It can be very jarring at first. I usually, it takes me a couple minutes to get back into a different mode, but it's definitely doable. The one thing that well, I'll talk about how I've messed it up later. Carly, tell me what it's like switching
Oh
between
my.
the ones that you mod.
Honestly, I thought that it would have been more of an issue, but like it really isn't. Like I guess sometimes I'll catch myself like putting an F word into the chat box, but I'm not gonna like hit send if I end up being in loco. But it's also it can be a bit challenging if you're switching constantly, which is why I try not to go back and forth too much because I mean, so Gangle's chat is all about being hardcore and you can super caps lock and there's hyper headbangs and just screaming in general and it's great. But things like the caps lock culture is not super appreciated elsewhere, which I know I'm bad about. But like for example, in Squirrel's chat, he's L Dirty Squirrel, right? So it's gonna get really lewd in there. But usually, I mean, it's just interesting, like listening to each streamer and what they're currently talking about in the topic. I think helps me to like get a more like audio cue to switch my brain before I go into chat. And I mean, if I'm in someone else's tab and I hear Gangle yelling like next door, then I'm gonna go check it out, see what's going on.
That totally makes sense because when I am watching, because there is that situation where I'm like, oh, I need to actively be in this chat and listening to this streamer, but this chat, I can actually just watch the chat on a second screen. I don't need to be watching and listening to the streamer. I'm just looking for certain things in chat for them. It can be very jarring when you're listening to
Oh
to
my
a
gosh.
super nice family friendly streamer in your headphones, and then you look over and you see this chat full of f-bombs, and like you have a little panic moment where you're just like,
Yeah.
what happened? And then you're just like, oh wait, no, that channel's okay, that's fine, let me go
See,
back over here.
I wouldn't be able to do that for that exact reason is I would get the chats mixed up. So I have one internet browser window open for my work stuff, and then I have another browser window open for all of my streams. And so I have to physically click on the tab to switch over, and it's really nice.
Yeah, I'm multiple screen, multiple moderator views is a very difficult thing to get
Yeah.
right. Because it goes both ways. If I'm listening to Lucid and then I look over and I see Loco's chat and I'm just like, wait, what's going on here? Why are none of you screaming? Um, and vice versa. But do you use anything like do you ever use any mod tools to like try and keep track of both chats at once, or do you just strictly never do it?
What do you mean mod tools to keep track of chat?
Like if you were either using like multi-twitch, which wouldn't really be like a mod tool, but it's a way to watch multiple streams, or Chatty allows you to have like multiple windows where you could have two chats right next to each other. You never do that? I feel like
I
that's
don't,
smart.
and partially for me, because I can't hear out of my right ear, I can really only like super listen to one stream at a time. And if I were to have the
Mhm.
second chat open, I just like wouldn't even know what people were talking about at all. And then usually on top of that, I'm working with lip sync or just different animation with audio. So it's a lot for me to have to manage. So in general, no, I just have them on different tabs. I have Loco and Mod View. I turn on all of the mod icons for Squirrel and Gangle's chat. And yeah, I like the tools that are provided me right now because it just works with my schedule.
Okay, so you said sometimes you type like an F bomb in the wrong chat and never send it. You've never messed have you never messed up?
I don't think I have ever sent an F bomb in Loco's chat because I'm pretty sure it's a blacklisted word. I don't think even mods can say the F word. I
I
haven't seen
think
mods.
Skomar, can you go test something for us? Uh,
Yeah, right? Skomar, we need you. But like, I mean, I've accidentally pasted like inappropriate links from other channels in the chat, and that is something that happens
okay, okay.
maybe
See,
sometimes.
the way I generally mess up is I'll like make a sarcastic political comment in Locos chat, and then I'm just like, oh yeah, no, I can't be doing that. I'm still like doing politics, and she's playing Animal Crossing, and I'm just like, well,
Right.
that's capitalism. And then I'm like, oh wait, no, wait,
Yeah, no,
wrong
okay, that
chat.
does happen to me in other channels where like I'll accidentally type something super lewd in Loco's channel. I'll be like, wait a minute, I can't send this.
Or when you accidentally spam caps lock and fish emotes or something like that.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
that's
no,
truly
that just
that's an
happens all
accident,
the
right?
time, like huge accident. It's just something with my keyboard. I don't know, it just gets stuck on the fish moles and it's just ever
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Purely accident. Purely accident.
completely accident.
Um, so you've told all of your streamers, obviously they have no issue with you streaming multiple or modding for multiple people. What if you, let's say you had the same three, well, I know a couple of these people are watching, but what kind of criterion would you work on if someone, or would you think about if someone said like, no, if you're on Twitch and you're not going to be here for this stream and and you're in someone else's chat as a viewer or as a moderator, just don't worry about it. You don't need to be a mod here then, because I've definitely heard of that happening too, where people say, "Oh, I can't just exclusively mod for you," and the streamer just says, "Okay, then don't mod for me at all. It's fine if you've got something else going on in this time slot."
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be chill. I mean, for me, like a lot of Twitch and modding is just a hobby, and I don't really take it personally. Just being in production, sometimes things just don't work out, and it's really nothing personal at all. And if it is, like, I don't care. Like, if a streamer wanted me to mod for them exclusively, I'd be like, okay, cool, I'll figure it out. I'll see how much I actually care. But if the
Yeah,
streamer was like, hey, I'd rather you left the team so you could focus on other people, I'd be like, okay, it's all fine. Like nothing personal here.
yeah, yeah. I think it's an interesting thing with. I think almost all streamers know that as we're doing this as volunteers, that they don't have control of our time and they're never going to tell us, or they shouldn't, and if they are, you should talk to them about it, but nobody should be telling you that you need to spend a certain amount of time in their channel.
Yeah.
However, it is a completely legit concern, and I think the streamer obviously has every right to say, hey, if you're not going to be here, but I think it really does need to be a matter of availability and not just the
Yes.
fact that you're modding for somebody else. Um,
Yeah, I
I
agree. I mean, go ahead.
oh no, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say because there really is that balance because you do want to communicate and you want to make sure to extend the courtesy to all of the people that you're modding for. But at the same time, it's a balancing act because modding is volunteer work, and so you don't want to step on anyone's toes. You don't want to ask too much, but also you don't want to be like a wiener about it.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean it's every streamer is gonna have different uh not requirements, but they're going to have different expectations of the moderators that sign up to work with them. So I think you need to respect that, but I think it's also, you're not wrong to advocate for yourself if you think that you can do both, or
Yeah.
if you think that it's a personal thing where they're just like, oh, they just want me to themselves, then definitely consider that relationship, because that's not a good thing. But if it's just a matter of you having to tell them, like, no, look, I can still be here for 75% of the
Yeah.
time. I'm the kind of person that keeps two windows open, so I'll always have another set of eyes on chat. Feel free to advocate for yourself. Find out why it is, whether it's just an exclusivity thing and they're just being jealous, or whether it's actually an availability thing. And if so, maybe you just have to say, hey, what do you expect then? Because
Yeah.
there's not many streamers that will tell you exactly what they expect, partially
Yes,
because we're
that can get
volunteers.
difficult.
Yeah, yeah. But I think it's an interesting situation that I'm glad I've never really had to come across.
Mhm.
But I've definitely heard stories from mods who have dealt with
Yeah.
things like this, and it's not a good situation. Just remember to be able to advocate for yourself and not just roll over if they say that, oh, I don't want you here anymore because you're not exclusive. Um, and speaking of not being in one consistently, is it possible to mod for a channel that you're in infrequently? Do you think? If Because if you moderate a bunch of different streams, so are there some that you moderate in and are a good moderator, but you're there infrequently, and what does that look like?
Um, I guess that's a hard question to answer just because I usually watch. So I watch Loco almost every day, and then I watch Squirrel like 3 or 4 days out of the week, and then I watch Gangle. When it's like around the same 3 or 4 days. So it's like I don't know. I'm pretty infrequent in Squirrel and Gangle's chats just because they don't need a lot of support with Loco's large community and like some of the trolls that come in, even though they kind of seem like they're going extinct now. But it's just it is really dependent on community for me, how much time I like take out for the streams. But I mean, Soul is turning out to be a great mod in Gangle's chat as well, so I can take a little bit of a breather on that, which is really nice to like rely on that.
Okay. Um, have you ever been? Because okay, so I've had a couple situations where I stayed on as a moderator for someone, and really the only thing that I did was help things in mod chat and do stuff with the bot. Like we had a
Okay.
mod chat in Discord, and I would be there. You all know I love meetings and notes. So if there was anything involving meetings or notes, I was so there for
Oh
it.
my
And I,
gosh.
I would help with like discussing channel stuff, and I would help with doing bot stuff. But by that time, it had become well known that I don't show up to the stream. And eventually that situation ended, and I no longer did those things for them anymore either. But I think that one thing that you can consider if you want to mod multiple streams is considering what you can bring to the table. And obviously you start by being in that channel. So you need to be known in the channel enough to even be considered for a mod,
Yeah.
but it's something to keep in mind. I know we ask new mods on Loco's team, what are other things that you do? Um, or what are other things that you're skilled at that you might be able to contribute? Because some people are like, you know what? I'm really good at spreadsheets and I can make a spreadsheet for you whenever you need. And it's like, that's awesome because a lot of times that could be a huge contribution to a mod team. And maybe there are nights when I can do some Photoshop stuff. But I wasn't around to be in stream that day because I was,
Yeah.
let's say traveling for work or whatever. But I can still help and contribute to the mod team in other ways. Um, so I definitely find when you're the moderator of multiple channels, you are finding other ways to make yourself useful in those channels a lot of times, and finding other ways to contribute to the stream without just being directly like, I'm a chat bot every day for all three of these mods because or all three of these
Yeah.
streamers because nobody can do that. Um,
That's a really insightful like way of putting it because it was like hard for me to articulate kind of what I ended up doing as well because like for Squirrel I make some assets. I'll be in the mod meetings. I'll help them come up with like ideas and story arcs for like the Space Not One and things like that. But in general, like I'll pop in and chat and say hi and like help with broadcaster shout outs, but a lot of it is behind the scenes.
yeah, yeah, I can tell. I mean, the way that his production works, you can tell that so much of it is behind the scenes work. So I guess actually
Yeah.
that's something that I hadn't considered too is when you look at when you're considering to mod for a stream and you have those types of skills, you might lead with that rather than follow up with it. You
Hmm.
might lead with say like, "Hey, I want to work with you. I'd like to be a mod and I think I can bring all of these great skills, but I'm only here like once a week to actually chat." Um, and at that point, I think you also need to consider for yourself, do you want to be a mod because you want to be a mod, or and you think you'd be a good mod, or do you want to be a mod because you want the sword? Because there's also a VIP badge, and
Yeah.
if you're doing things for people behind the streams just to get a mod sword for the once in a while you're in chat, you might want to consider why you want a mod sword to begin with. Do you maybe just want payment for your work, or do you maybe just want a VIP badge or a free sub every now and then?
Hmm.
At that point, because I will say I'm guilty of keeping mod swords way longer than I need them. Um, in preparation for this show, I looked up both of our names, and apparently I still mod for 12 people and 5 partners.
What?
Um, I need to go give these
What?
swords back. Because and it's true, I've fallen victim to it too. Like, I like having a sword when I pop up in chat. And it's even if I'm there once a week just to say hi, like, it's cool to have a sword. But also, if someone lets you keep that sword, that's like an honorary mod thing. If you're doing something just to get that sword and appear once a week or so, that's you should not do
Yeah.
that. You need to consider why you're even looking for that.
I really do like Twitch's implementation of the VIP badge for that reason. It's because like
Hmm.
sometimes you do have people in chat who are like you do want to recognize them and you do want to honor them, and I just think that's a super cool way of putting that kind of little status there, without like creating yet another like weird social situation. Because I mean, like you said
Yeah.
at the very beginning of a stream, like being mod changes the social dynamic completely and the way that you interact with chat.
Yeah. Yeah, and when I show up to those old chats, I don't want to answer any questions. I don't know anything. I haven't been here in a
Yeah.
month. Like, don't ask me what the command for something is. I don't know. Um
Yeah.
that actually makes me think that I am about to reach out to like 6 people tonight and ask to trade in my mod sword for a VIP badge.
That would be awesome. No, I think that's a really good idea.
Because yeah, that makes sense. I think. Be ready to turn in your mod swords if you're not using them. I guess that. Oh my gosh, that going back to the active mod list on Mod View, I, I'm useless every time I show up in any of those chats, and
Yeah.
I'm still gonna pad their numbers for active mods, and
Oh, so you still show up just because you're online. I thought it was you showed up because you were like in the channel.
well, no, you'll show up just if you're in the channel. I guess I'm saying if I go back to one of those, one of the first streams that I modded for, years ago, and I don't really even watch their show anymore. But if I'm just chilling in chat, their other mods are going to see that there's one more active mod than
Yeah.
they're going to see me as an active mod, and I'm obviously not. I'm hardly even a mod. Um, so that's interesting. So I'm curious, directly relating to being a moderator on multiple streams, what are some cool benefits that you've gotten, and like how is your moderator toolbox expanded by moderating multiple channels?
Well, honestly, I can't think of a whole lot of good things that's come out of this. I mean, there's this like massive group of mods on one of the channels that I'm on that just bullies me every day. So it's been pretty. No, I do like modding for multiple channels at once. I think it's cool to be able to adapt to those different social situations, and also like every channel does have specific ways that it operates. And so what might work in Loco's channel isn't going to work in Squirrel's channel, and vice versa. And it's just I think that it helps expand the community management aspect of things. I know for me, when I started modding, I learned how to be assertive and how to stick up for myself more, just like in general, like outside of Twitch and in real life. So just being able to like have a lot of these interactions, being able to learn how to adapt, I think are just very, very nice things to go into my mental toolbox.
Okay, that's good. I feel like and granted, I've been all over the place with moderator teams before, but I've picked up so many good like techniques and kind of like best practices um for things like Discord. Like if you are in, and I think that Loco's mod team's Discord is fantastic. I mean, we talk about it all the time. We're constantly updating it and trying new things and making different channels to try out a new, like our check-in system, or we change the way that we do this or that, and we're constantly improving it. And I think that's an absolutely amazing thing to be able to bring to another
Yeah.
mod team. If you get into a mod team and you find that they're using Twitch whispers to do most of their mod team communications, a system that doesn't even work, and you're like, wait,
Yeah.
we need these Discord channels, and let me show you how we can use them. And I found that to just be absolutely invaluable information. Um, Also, like mod tips and tricks. Um, when someone in a mod chat says like, "Oh, this is how I have my mod view set up, and this is what I find useful," I can bring that over to the other mod team and say like, "Oh,
Yeah.
look at how this mod had it set up," and I thought that that was really useful. We share Twitch news. If Twitch changes some of their rules, or they change and add some mod tools or something like that. Um, if one channel knows about it first, I'm gonna go ahead and tell the other channel, and
Yeah.
it's gone so many ways both times with that, where I'll see something in Lucid's mod channel and I'll post it over in Loco's mod channel. If I post something in Loco's mod channel, guys, I just stole it from Lucid's mod channel. Just so you know, if it's
Oh
like
my
useful
gosh.
information or something, it's not really from me. It's something that probably Salty posted. Um,
Thanks, Salty. I appreciate you.
uh, so I think it's really useful for that. Gaming news, not so much. I've never really seen that. Um, like event ideas, maybe not so much ideas, but I think best practices could be a really interesting way to
Yeah.
put it. Is like if I'm running a event for Lucid, and we've already done a similar event where we need to track similar things, I can go open up the spreadsheet that we used for Loco and be like, oh yeah, these were the formulas that we needed to
Hmm.
figure out the totals for donations or whatever. So I don't think there's much you can do as far as transferable event ideas. And I think event ideas, you absolutely need to respect. Those are your streamers.
Yes, for
Like, that's
sure.
like their IP. Like, that's
Hmm.
theirs. But like best practices and how to help behind the scenes, which is kind of what this stream is about, you can absolutely do. And, if you've run big charity events on one stream, you've got to have some insight for someone else's stream who's about to run their first big charity event. So I
Yeah,
think
I was
those are
gonna
very useful.
say. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say that, yeah, like being able to have experience doing something like large charity events or front page events is invaluable, because even though streamers run their platforms differently, just even knowing, like, if they haven't been on the front page before at all, just knowing that they have a mod in chat that has done this before, then that's like totally fine. Takes a little bit of the stress off. The intercommunication is great, because I mean, us mods, it's not like we're in rival gangs or anything. Like, we're all friends with each other, and it ends up creating a nice little moderator network that benefits the partners that we support.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of like a moderator network, um, people to block if you are in a situation where there are
Yes.
um, shared communities, because most of the time if you're moderating for two people, you're not going to have a whole lot of shared community, and it's not worth it to just go over to your other channel and ban everybody who does something bad in this channel. But there have been many times, for example, when going back to when I modded for two streamers that were playing the same game in the same community and the same events, absolutely super useful to be able to just be like, oh yeah, this person, because we just banned them here, they're good chance they're going to come over here, so let's go ahead and ban them here. And then as far as moderator network goes, there's been plenty of times where I've been DMing someone from a mod team that we just raided into to tell them, hey, here's the list of people I blocked today, just in case they followed with the raid, give them an immediate ban.
Yes, I've done that as well.
Yeah, it can be super useful. Now, granted, like I said, the chances that the two streams that you mod for being that interconnected are very unlikely, but it's a good reason to build relations between mod teams. I've never had a relation from a mod team to a mod team that like wasn't appreciated, that we're trying to help them.
Yeah.
Nobody's like, oh, we don't care if we get a bunch of trolls today. It's like, no, thank you. Like, yeah, if these people were coming in and saying the worst stuff imaginable, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of them all now before we even have to deal with them, because we all know people follow raids and people hang out in the same communities and try and troll the same people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all stuff that I've been able to pick up and share and take with me wherever I go to mod next. And I think your experience from any events that you've done and from any moderation that you've done, you'd be remiss not to try and employ that in another moderator team. Obviously, you don't step on any toes your first week, but if you have that experience, don't be afraid to speak up and be like, hey, you know what? I mod for another channel, and we did a giant subathon last month, and this is what we needed from the mods that we didn't expect. So let's be one step ahead of this, and let's expect to need those things. It's definitely very helpful.
And there is a line between backseat modding and just like providing helpful information when you're telling other mods things. Like I have unfortunately had a situation before where somebody has been banned in another channel, and then they came back with a new name, and the mods had no idea that this person was still in chat. So I had to whisper them, hey, here's just a heads up, do with this information what you like, but by no means am I going to tell a moderator how to do their own job, like in a channel that I'm not even in, like that is.
I should absolutely clarify, because I don't remember exactly what my wording was, but yes, don't message another mod telling them what to do. And if you join a new mod team, do not tell them what to do. Please, for your own sake, be tactful. Explain that if you're messaging a moderator saying, hey, we banned these people today, this is what they did, do with this information as you like.
Yeah.
Or if you are in a new, if you're on a different mod team and they're doing something, don't say, oh, this is how we need to do it because I've done this before on another channel.
Mm-hmm.
That looks gross. Say, hey, I have some experience with this. This is what we learned. I just thought I'd put that out there. It might help us.
Yeah.
I should hope that using tact is a given, but who knows?
Unfortunately, it does need to be said.
It really does need to be said, though. Like, be tactful about it, please. We're actually running up on the next show here today.
Oh my gosh, no way.
I know, but we did get a couple questions in chat that I want to touch on before we go ahead and move over to Dan's stream of thought, which starts in like 10 minutes. I looked at a watch that's not on my wrist.
Oh my gosh.
But it starts in like 10 minutes. So stay tuned. We're going to get to some questions here. If one of the people you mod for decided to change platforms, would you follow them and mod for them on the new platform?
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'd like to say that I would, but for example, like if someone decided to move over to Facebook Gaming, there's no moderator tools. So it's like, I'll be there to support you, I guess, but like there's nothing I can do. I'm pretty sure that I'm not quite sure if YouTube has like modding tools, but it would depend. Like if someone went over to Mixer, sure, like I can learn a new mod interface, that's fine. But in general, like sometimes the tools aren't even there, so that would be a difficult call.
Yeah. I'm not doing it. I'm not following anybody anywhere.
Oh
Sorry,
my
guys.
gosh, really?
No, I'm just kidding. I would.
Man, Wes, you just hate us.
Look, I could go, just mod someone else maybe or something on Twitch. I already have all Twitch shirts. You think I'm just gonna start buying?
You already have it tattooed on your chest. Like that's not even a shirt. That's a tattoo.
Yeah, and we've got the other tattoos that are, it's all Twitch stuff. So I'm not gonna just follow someone to it. No, I would. I would, and it definitely depends on, like you said. I think there's two factors: is the streamer and the mod tools in the platform, and I think those are things that you have to find a balance with for yourself. That is a completely personal thing. If it helps you to sit down and write pros and cons, that totally works. Whatever gets you through that thought process. But there are some people that I would follow to any platform, and there's some people that literally, if they move to something, even something as similar and easy to use as Mixer, I would just be like, nah, I'm not going. Yeah, I don't need to mod for you over there. Have fun. I'll be a viewer. Um, but I think it's all just like a balance. Like, how much do I like the mod tools versus how much do I like the streamer? If I hate the tools and love the streamer, is it worth it to me? But that's
Hmm.
it. I think that's a very difficult question that you might need a little bit of time to figure out too. I wouldn't know on my day one of a new platform whether I was gonna be able to make that platform work for me as a mod. I wouldn't know on day one whether I was happy with Mixer's mod tools or not. I'd need to, play around for a few days, see if I could get used to it. Because, of course, we do mod on Twitch all day, every day. It is, as much as it seems like it's, yeah, it is just another interface. But also, we've got a strong habit of modding in a certain way and having certain tools available to us. It would be a lot for me to adjust, I think.
Yeah, I would definitely need like a week, just kind of like starter to just see like how everything works, a trial week for sure. Because there's no way, like, sure, I could say, yeah, I'll totally follow you to Mixer or to YouTube, but then if it turns out it's like unbearable, and then I'm not gonna do that as much as I would hate to step down.
I don't know how this didn't cross my mind earlier, but chat. Like, what if you go to you if someone decides to go to YouTube and all of a sudden there the culture is spam and emotes and spam and spam and spam, and
It's so much.
it's so much. And if move to a different platform, let's say your audience increases a bit or it decreases a bit, but the core of the chat might change. Like, I probably don't want to be on Facebook, period. Like, I just don't want to be there
Oh
because
my gosh, no way.
I don't think I'd like the people on the platform. I'd give it a shot for a streamer that I liked, but the people that just randomly come into your stream from Facebook might be a very different chat experience than you're used to. So that's actually something that I would also take into consideration if someone moved to a different platform. Is I would check out the channel after a week and see what kind of new faces are popping
Yeah,
up, and
for sure.
if chat even looks the same as it does. Because if chat blows up to 1,000,000 miles a minute and it's all spam, I don't want to mod that. I'm sorry, that's
Yeah,
just
I
not,
don't even
it's not
want
my
to
thing.
read that.
Yeah, like, I don't even want to. I
I just
turned
hide YouTube chat. Like,
yep, just hide that. I don't want to deal with it. um that was a great question. We were also asked, do any of you stream as well as mod? How do you handle that time energy balance between their channels and yours?
well, Wes, how do you handle that?
I I I stream an hour here a week, and I slog through it. I do my best. It's really tough. I mean, streaming here for an hour on top of moderating channels, it's exhausting. And obviously I put this show first in front of everything. No, I'm kidding. This is just a side gig. I don't stream anymore. Personal thing. It wasn't for me. I enjoyed being behind the stream, or behind the scenes more. But Karli, tell us all about that.
I mean, so in the evenings are usually my me time for Twitch, and in the evenings are when I'm off of work, so that's usually when I'll stream. I mean, I stream as a hobby. Whenever I have freelance work to do, then I'll do that. So I stream a lot of my animation, and usually if my client isn't comfortable with me streaming it, then I'm just not gonna do it, because it's nice to be able to double dip, honestly. Like, quite
Nice.
frankly, that's why I
Yeah.
like it. But I mean, also, like, I mean, I'll go like 3 hours at the most, but something short like this, it's not super draining to me. I call into classes a lot to talk about animation, anyways. So it's just kind of like already been part of my life for a while. But yeah, I mean, because I'm not trying to make this a career, I don't have a schedule. I don't even like warn my viewers like when I'm gonna stream. I'll be like, yeah, I'm thinking about streaming today, and then
Yeah,
like I won't.
I've seen your tweets. I've seen your
Yeah,
tweets.
you've seen them. Like, I'll maybe tweet like an hour before, like, hey, I'll be live in an hour, and then my actual going live tweet is gonna get buried like under those notifications. But like, that's not my problem. It's just a hobby.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't think personally I don't think I could do it. But that's just me. I think it would be too tough if I was trying to do like a full-time stream, or if I was trying to really make my stream go, to new higher levels. I think it would be a whole lot for me to moderate and stream. But I also think that moderating is one of the best insights into streaming you can possibly have. Um, you learn more about the process, you learn more about things on the streamer's end, and you learn more about what chat's like before a moderator cleans it up and goes through everything. So
Yes.
it is a great tool to learn a lot about streaming. Personally, I don't know if I could do it, and I applaud anybody that can, because that's some next level stuff.
All right, so start clapping.
I'm humbled by your presence alone.
Oh my gosh.
So we actually have another show coming up in just a couple minutes.
Go.
Karli, tell us all about yourself. Where can we find you? How can we see all of your gorgeous art?
What's up? My name's Karli Cartoons. That's my tag everywhere. Usually, if you just search my first name, that's what's gonna come up as well. I worked on this show that's on Netflix called The Midnight Gospel, and Loco, please, you need to watch it like super badly. I mean, Lucid's already seen it, dude. No, but I work in animation. I post all of my art usually on Twitter. It is actually mainly Twitter. I have an Instagram for my sketchbook, and I'm here on Twitch, kind of just chilling. So, yeah.
Awesome. If you get a chance, check out her streams. They are super fun. Not safe for work, correct?
Oh yeah, no, all of my streams are like 18 plus, like very
Yes.
strictly 18 plus.
Be very careful,
No,
but they're fantastic streams.
It's like my streams are like the worst of Gangle and Squirrel streams combined. Like, I mean, I'll do like drunk drawing streams. They're amazing, but yeah,
They
if you're
are.
looking for
They're
something
fantastic.
family friendly, you're really not gonna like.
No, not gonna work over there. My name's Wes Sisa. You can find me on Wes Sisa on Twitch and Twitter if you want to follow me or there. I talk about whatever. It's not always about streaming, but it's usually about streaming. Other than that, you can find me here every Tuesday, 4:45 p.m. for Behind the Streams, where we talk about this. We talk about streaming. We talk about moderating, and we try and do our best to get you some awesome guests like Karli Cartoons, who, was just absolutely amazing co-host today. Thank you so
Shut
much
up.
again. And hopefully bring you good new information every week. Everybody hang on to your butts and don't touch that dial, because Dance Streamer Thought starts in like 1 minute. You're hardly
Hold
gonna
on
see
to those
us.
cheeks, y'all.
You're hardly even gonna see us go off. And he is talking about ethics in your brand, which is going to be super exciting. That's going to be a great topic today. So hang on, and we'll be right back with Dan's Stream of Thought. Bye, everyone.
Bye.